All right, everybody. Here we are again with another episode of Theater Talk. I'm so excited because this is our 5th episode. And today we are going to talk about the acting business. We're going to just exchange, share, and talk about being in the business outside of New York. That kind of lifestyle that is so different when you have a smaller market. But a lot of the guys we're going to talk to today I've seen them on TV and commercials and all kinds of awesome things. So let's have at it. Let's get started. Everybody here. We got Toney Cobb. We have Shantell. We have Fleming. And we have DL Hopkins. So let's get to it, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing great, Jerome.
Good.
We've
been talking about so many things. There's so much going on in the world. So many good shows to talk about. Such commentary of things going on in the world. It's so much. I mean the NFL. I mean the NBA. What they did.
Wow,
that was awesome. But it's so much. So today we're just gonna I want to talk about a couple of things. And this time I'm gonna ask y'all some questions because I've seen you guys a lot, and I was binge watching some shows, and I know I saw at least 3 of you when I was binge watching. I was watching The Wire. I saw DL. I saw J-Ron. I might have seen Tony. I don't know.
No, you didn't see it was my doppelganger. It was my doppelganger.
Oh, gotcha.
I think he owes you some residual checks, brother. And follow up on that.
But I've seen y'all, and y'all been busy. And so we just want to talk about how y'all been doing that, And I remember when I was young in my 20s, not knowing what I was going to do with my life. Where my next dollar was coming from. And I was not living in New York, which might be a blessing. I don't know. But we were all working actors. I remember that we were working with Ernie or some show in the community, and then of course, trying to get other gigs, off of the stage, on TV or commercials and things of that nature, So I'm gonna ask y'all a couple of questions today. The first question, how do you feed your artistic soul while meeting your practical needs as an actor? All right. How have y'all made it this far? And still doing what you do. All right. So let's.
I have one word for that.
Yes.
And it's barely.
Now, DL, I think you got a lot of credits, man. You've been on TV shows, movies, you making independent films, different things. How have you done that? It's an awesome thing, And you're not even in in a small marketplace, and you've been able to do some awesome things,
Super small marketplace. I will say that I have been blessed to be around a lot of people who are at the beginning of their building production companies or starting as directors. And I'm not talking about theater, but mostly film and television.
Yeah.
And in that case, when we're just learning, everybody's just learning together. So much like what we did with Ernie and all the other shows, you didn't just act. I was best boy and key grip and a bunch of other things to learn how that situation worked and also how to conduct yourself. It's on a set and things of that nature. That's one thing that I would impart to anyone who's looking to get into film and television. There is a manner in which you conduct yourself on a set that is professional. And a lot of people don't do that. And if you simply do that, just, don't show up on time, show up before time, be prepared. It's the same stuff that we've done before. Be prepared and also be open to adjust because things happen. You got a scene outside and you're supposed to be walking in the rain. And it's sunny. So you gotta adapt to certain things and keep that openness and positive attitude, and people call you back. One of the things I would say about the Richmond market or this middle area, that we call it DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, because I used to go down to the Fincannons down in North Carolina. I don't know if you guys did that. Those auditions way down in, at the bottom of North Carolina.
Wilmington.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wilmington. Yeah, drive all those hours to get a no. But I went down there quite a bit, and a couple other places, and there are not many of us. Number one, it might be different now, but you develop a reputation, and that's how I got the wire. It was just simply diligence. I've got wife and kids and a regular job, and when I could, I developed a relationship with the casting director for the show, and every opportunity I got, I went up and auditioned for whatever they had. I loved The Wire. I wanted to be on the show, so I wouldn't take no for an answer. And I did that for years. A lot of driving up and down that road for years. And they would call me back. DL, we got something we'd like you to come in and read for. I met writers on the show and the director, and then I read scripts, and they didn't hire me. But it was one of those, could you be blacker? I don't know if you're familiar with The Wire, but this ain't Baltimore. So I had to, but I just through tenacity and constantly being there, they said, hey, this is perfect for you. Why don't you come in? And they let me hang out and read with everybody for a while. So I got to know them. So that's what I would say it mainly is. But because we're in Virginia, I don't have to, or all of you realize, we don't necessarily have to join the union, which is SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And it's a right to work state, so I get the same fees and rates and all of that stuff. So I put that off for quite a few years. Although I'm SAG eligible, now with everything that's going on, I think I'm going to just go ahead and join the union after all of these years, simply because you get a wider net. And I get called first. I've been spoiled because I've used to, I knew every production company in town. So anytime they needed someone who was Black or they were looking for someone, I got the call. But that isn't necessarily the case now because I'm old as Methuselah, and I'm about to cruise into my James Earl, Morgan Freeman years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
I can grow my beard and start to talk like this a lot, and seem very pensive, and I get hired for that. So, but I think that's the main thing I would say to anyone who's interested: tenacity, do your fundamentals. Don't be on time, be before time, be ready, and be open. There's some. That's mainly it. There are only a few things that come through Richmond, and because I've been working here for so long, I've developed a niche in the history aspect. So I get to play all of these heroes of mine, and I without my knowledge, I was like, wow, I played 9 or 10 different Black men in Richmond history. So there's a lot of work out there if you really want it. Just do the fundamentals. That's about it. Can you raise your family on this? Perhaps. Did I? No. I can't risk my, you can't feed babies on, commercial money.
Yeah.
It's not as consistent. I wouldn't be at home. You can, but I wouldn't be at home.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the main thing. And then, you know, everything's jumping down in Atlanta. We hot down there right now. So
We're Atlanta, yeah.
yes, sir. I want to get a taste of that eventually.
Yeah, Hot Lantern. Yeah. I remember when you first landed Links, and you know, I know it was that tenacity, that you know, that stuff we learned from Ernie, you know, that you know, and then being creative and open, and just you know, and it was so cool to see because they use your name in the show,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to shout out Tim and Daphne Reed. It's all them.
Gotcha.
If it weren't for them, because I just wanted to be a part of it. So I auditioned, didn't get anything. Your boy Rodney Choice did, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's a good story. I'm not going to tell it here though. I'll tell you. And this is another thing where it's like, be ready. So I didn't get a role, although I came back and read several times. Tim and Daphne liked me, and they said, hey, just show up and maybe, you know, we'll see what we can get you on, you know, just be an extra and be ready. We'll see. Thanks. And I was just happy that they remembered my name. And then they, I got to the set. I was an extra in the bar Links.
DL, get in here.
Yeah, pretty much. And Debbie Allen was directing that first episode, and I'd never met her before. But the first AD said, hey, we need a guy to just walk around the bar. You know, the town guy who everybody knows is like, you can do that, DL. So I went around the bar looking for a light. Nobody had a lighter. Everybody had a lighter, but you know, that was my activity. I just came up with my own thing, you know, trying to, like, half drunk and all. Debbie Allen caught it and said, hey, everybody, look at what this guy's doing. And I thought I was in trouble. So I did the same thing and they ran it. And she's like, this is how we need to be living in these scenes. You don't just wait for somebody to tell you, you live in the scene. And that is how I got on the show, because Debbie talked to Tim and Daphne saw how much I worked well with somebody who I considered a hero. And I didn't freak out when I saw the superstars, you know, your Pam Greers and all those guys, Stephen Williams and Kadeem Hardison, Gregory Hines, all these cats I met and hung out with. That's what got me the role. That's it. And they said, great, we're going to make you the cook on this show. I was like, oh, got a character? I said, yeah, you got a character. What's your name again? DL. Great, that's your character's name. Next.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I almost set Debbie Allen on fire on that set. So that's another thing.
I heard about that too. Thank you, DL. That's awesome. That's awesome. Toney and Jaron, I just want to say I remember going to this movie that I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I mean, I had no idea what it was all about. I said it was just a local talent doing this movie out, Boy Scouts. I go to the movie. I'm looking at the screen. I see Toney and I see Jaron. You know, and that was awesome.
That too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Keith was in there. Yeah. I invited her today. I don't know. She never called me back. So, but yeah, y'all talk. I mean, that's one story. But y'all want to share your how you answer that question?
Mm-hmm.
Either
J.
one
Ron?
of you.
Go ahead, Tony.
Okay. Well, wow, I love what DL said, because that's really what it's all about. I haven't had a lot of extensive experience with film and TV, but I've been blessed, like DL said. Well, more specifically, I'm going to go back to Links, because I love what DL said about learning how to operate on a set. So I did background work, as they called it, or extras. And I remember DL in the kitchen and stuff. I got such a kick out of that. But that's how I learned how to navigate and operate on a set. And I I did a little jazz little thing too that caught the eye. It wasn't Debbie Allen, I wish, but it was a Caucasian man was directing this particular episode. And I can remember just being involved with, and I got to know Stephen. Of all the people, I got to know Stephen a little bit better. But I was in a good shot of seeing him and Pam Grier. I was like really in frame. And, you know, I started kind of like, I was ear hustling like kind of thing. You know, everybody else was just sitting still, afraid to move, pretending like they're eating and stuff like that. You know, but I tried to be engaged. And I'm not gonna say it caught the attention of DL's level. They didn't offer me anything, but I felt good about that. And I learned a valuable lesson on that set. I was cast as a homeless guy. They had an outdoor scene, and I had this styrofoam cup, and I was supposed to go up to the great George Stanford Brown and ask for money. The props people gave me an empty styrofoam cup. So I go up to George Stanford Brown, he knocks it out of my hand. That was the action in the scene. Then when we were doing the scene over, he said, stop. He said, get your cup. He reached in his pocket, put some change in it to make it more organic, because he didn't want to knock an empty cup out of my hand. So it's just little things like that. So fast forward to True 491, which was the movie that J-Ron and I were in. You know, I felt more prepared. And that was a little bit more of a personal thing because Praheem and I just, boom, just immediately clicked at the audition. So I was honored when he offered me the part. But I felt prepared to be on a set. Mind you, it was years later, so my acting skills and everything had improved greatly. So, and that was just pure audition, got the role type of thing. And then Legends and Lies, trying to follow behind DL, man. Come on now. Warm Springs production. And all I had to say was, I know DL Hopkins, you know. But anyway, so got a couple parts in Legends and Lies. And again, I think being on Links more specifically kind of prepared me to operate on the set. Like DL said, man, you know, even though I'm single, I couldn't survive just on that. You know, you have to really be out there and that type of thing. But man, I wouldn't trade any of my experiences for anything because I learned so much, not just as an actor, but just as how to be a professional and just how it works. I mean, because now you get a little spoiled. I'm sure DL and J-Ron could attest to this. When you've been on a lot of sets, you've done a lot of TV and a lot of movies, you're watching movies and stuff now, you have this inside knowledge, you know, about how they did this, how they did that. I used to drive my family crazy with that. Oh yeah, that scene, that's it, they're using that kind of thing. Things you pick up on a set. But you know, really fortunate, blessed, and really, like DL said, I really tried to seize the moments when I had those opportunities. I didn't come in there half-stepping, I came there with confidence, and I came there with creativity. I came in there with jazz in mind and everything. And I think it definitely served me well because when I did the season 2 of Legends and Lies, I didn't have to audition for season 3. They just called and said, hey, we got a role for you. You interested, you available. So that's my story.
So Toney, tell the viewers, like, and you too, DL, a little bit. So what's your full time? So you're doing that, all these things on the side, but what the things has sustained you?
Well, what has sustained me is I try to stay as busy as I can, even if it's just working on a community theater thing, working on a church-oriented play. I mean, I probably have done half of my work, well, a good portion of my work pro bono, free,
Gotcha.
you know, through my career. But that was to satisfy my artistic juices, my artistic appetite, as you alluded to. And then also just kind of watching, you know, becoming a more sophisticated movie and TV watcher and things like that helps. Because as I alluded to, I think in maybe the first show, is that I get a lot of joy and happiness watching my friends on things and operate. I mean, that makes this, it warms my heart. So that helps a great deal. I only had 3 years being a full-time actor, and I was doing children's theater with Theater 4. And even that wasn't really totally sustainable, you know, because I was living at home, but I had, you know, but I could still pay some bills. But even that wasn't totally sustainable, but that was my only foray into being a full-time actor. And that was the 3 years I toured with Theater 4.
Yeah, and I think that was my first paying gig, touring, with Theater 4. So, and I was so happy about that because out of college, I'm like, see, Mom, I got it. I got a job. Right.
Yeah,
all right.
I can only echo what Toney has said. A lot of the work that I did was for either low or no pay, because I was just really excited for the opportunity. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't trade the experience, because like every second that I'm on a set now, I'm applying what I learned from my previous experience, but I'm also learning while I'm there, because things change, people are different. I will say the one thing that I enjoy the most is having the opportunity to watch some of your acting heroes work, right? You don't get to see, I don't know, whatever actor you have the opportunity to work with who's on a professional level, the Emmy nominated, you got some Oscars, things of that nature. Sit back and just look at how they break down a scene, how they sustain emotional context. Like in theater, we get the luxury of building up to that. Like we start at one place and then we build along, right? But to watch somebody do scenes out of order, yet they start boom like that. Like I've seen some, and I can't, I'm terrible with names, but there's this woman that I did an independent film with. Blair Underwood was the star. I did a lot of Tim and Daphne Blair Underwood movies. And she had this scene where it was like a horror movie where she was, frantic and crying. Well, you don't shoot in order. So you might, because they have the things for the big fight, you shoot that, then you go back and you pick up this and that. Watching her over at Craft Services, having a laughing conversation with me and a couple other people, and then they call her to set, and we go up. I was a stand-in as well as an actor on that, and we set up the scene, and then they say action, and she's in tears.
Whoa. As
if she's been through an ordeal for hours. And then she does her scene, they cut, she takes a breath, and then she builds up, and she's like, I want another one. And she hits the lines differently. I was amazed. Tears, everything. And that's the kind of thing you have to be prepared for. Is I saw the same thing with Ruth Negga in Loving. And I'm not trying to name drop here, but that was a very emotional film. And watching her reach that level of context and giving the scene what it needed over and over again, and then walking around the corner and cracking jokes was just amazing. That's with the added thing of her and Joel. She's Irish, right? So, and Joel's Australian, and have them just shooting the shit. Right, mate, I'm doing this. What? Okay, action. And then all of a sudden, he's from Virginia. He's Southern. And it was just amazing to watch. And picking up lines and changing them, because everything changes. Do the lines as they're supposed to be done. And now let's do it. And what would you say in this instance, right? It's amazing to watch. So that's the type of thing that you can't pay for. But being present and actually seeing how it's done, how it's like watching Babe Ruth swing. You're like, okay, that's how he knocks him out of the park. That's how the donuts are made.
DL, I wanted to kind of interject in that situation. I am when I perform, and when I because that's one of the side things that I do as well when I do video. When I do theater, you're right. It's like it's a buildup. You know what I'm saying? Everything makes sense. it's a world that makes sense to me, right? But when it's time for me to shoot video, they're like, okay, action. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, holla. Let me get myself together.
Right. Now, what happened before?
I'm used to that world.
Yeah.
I'm used to that world. Let me get myself together. Let me, get that moment.
To get there.
Build up to that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like I can't get it.
Yes.
But let me just give reason to the rhyme.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it frustrates me when someone says, okay, cry. That actually makes me mad. But I have to, because emotion is not something you point at. There is reason for what it is that you do. And I've always taught that. And there's a connection to it. Acting is not something that is just done. There is connection to everything that you do.
Yeah. Everybody has pretty much said it. One of the things that I remember as I got into the business side of it, because for me, really, most of it has just been the craft of acting. And really, it was Michael Bennett who I remember early on when I very first started taking class. He said, man, why don't you get you some headshots and take them to Uptown Talent? I didn't even know what a damn headshot was. So, and I did that, and it was a real blessing because I ended up making a little extra money. So it's never been my primary source of income. But I've always worked in a field that gave me flexibility to take time and to perform and to do things in and around that. And so that's, I know what I was about to say. Early on, I used to hear about these actors, and I'm sure I would imagine, to give an example, the girl who does those Geico commercials, Flo, she might be an example of what I'm talking about. I've heard of actors back in the day who were just sort of mid-level in terms of notoriety, or maybe even lower level, but they get a national commercial that pays them handsomely, and then that income allows them to do what they want to do. And that kind of thing is more of a challenge to land here, because even though we're in a right to work state and all of that, without question, the more frequent opportunities are LA and New York. I mean, there's no secret to that. Maybe Chicago a little bit, but
and Atlanta now.
Atlanta,
yeah.
Well, I'm talking about when we started in the early days.
Yeah, I got you.
Now you have a number of markets, and also we have actors locally that we all know that used to really beat the beaten path and hop on a flight to New York, Joe Insco or some others. And
Dave Bridge.
And a few that even moved to those markets. So, but for me, because I said my emphasis was never on really making a living from it, I'm always, learn a new poem, new monologue, work on stuff that I already know. And I've thought about, I know the one time I really entertained thoughts of going to, because there's a season of auditions in LA that people would go to. And I thought about going out there one time, and then, Trey came into the world. So, after that, I kind of bagged the whole idea and,
that's weird that you bring that up, J. Ron, but every opportunity that I had to move out to Los Angeles, something occurred in my life that kept me here in Richmond. When I had every intention of going, something kept me here. And I'm actually quite thankful. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah. Well,
hearing you say that, it reminded me, and I forgot that until you just said that. Your economics, at least perceptually, limits your options. That's a whole nother conversation. But I remember during that time, my aunt, who was the eldest of our family, was still alive. And I remember thinking how uncomfortable I would be if she were to suddenly become ill and perhaps transition and I'd be away. Those kind of things kind of kept me home too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get to the last one, because I think this is a segue. But this is because now we're talking about, I think, more economics and acting, right? So this last question. We've all heard the cliche, a starving artist. What steps have you made to avoid that? And I know in some of these, like J. Ron, what he just said, he was always a hustler. He wasn't, not, want to do acting full time, but because I know, J. Ron, you're the first person I knew in our our group who had a house, you always have properties and things of that nature,
Hey, wait a minute. Oh, is this being recorded?
Hang on.
I don't have those kinds of things.
No.
I will say, for me, and some things about yourself, you like, where did that really come from? I've never been one to live outside of my means, and actors in general, like perfect example, after the show, they'll go out and blow $75 on some dinner and some drinks. And I always have been, I might go occasionally and buy one beer or something, but I've always taken care of my money because I've always recognized that, nothing is promised. And so when you just live haphazardly, because money is a tool just like anything. You just don't throw your hammer out the window because you might have to hit another nail.
Yeah.
So that's probably been the biggest factor for me in surviving, is that I don't blow my money. I'm always preparing myself for that rainy day, and man, it's been raining lately.
Right?
It's coming down in buckets.
I know, right?
And
well, I'm going to be a little silent. I want you, because I really want you guys to talk, but I will say this. When I remember when we were young actors, me and all of us, and GL, we had the club, right?
Club Zachariah.
Right. And what happened was we both found our future wives, right?
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
And yeah, it was awesome. And so that kind of changed my whole everything, So
my entire trajectory in life.
Yeah. And so then I was like, you know what? And my wife, I became an instant stepdad, and so, it was like, okay, well, this is my life now, but here's the thing. I remember, and then, so I was like, okay, well, I have to work now for real. And my first job, I was like, what am I going to do? Cause I wasn't a teacher. So I was a manager. I don't know if y'all knew this. I was a manager at Burger King.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. For some time, and then I got that gig to become a theater teacher, and that was like, thank you, Lord, And so I kind of was able to really do everything I wanted to do, and have the family, had that career,
Stop eating Whoppers.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how those little kids focus your entire life.
Yeah.
You have those two little eyeballs looking up at you.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you get instant clarity.
Yep.
Oh, I get it. I'm going to have to make this money every week.
Exactly. Right.
Man, the thing about it is that most human beings, as they come into this craft, you're simultaneously coming out of adolescence into adulthood. So there's a lot of other things you're dealing with as well. And everybody, everywhere deals with the same thing. A perfect example, I just learned this recently. I'm sure you guys have seen. It's a very entertaining commercial. And they show this woman, and she's sitting working on her laptop from home. And she's talking to the camera as if, and she's an attorney. And so they cut to this woman singing a song, and they introduce her by name. And she sings the jingle that's supposed to be for the attorney's business, but she mistakenly says taxidermy.
Taxidermy, instead of tax attorney.
It's tax attorney. And so, I've seen it multiple times, and I thought it was done very, very Broadway musical-ish. So I Googled the girl.
Yeah, she's from Wicked.
And she's a very well-known actor. But even before that, you know what she was in?
Rent, right?
She was in Rent. And
you know
her husband was?
Yeah.
Tay
Diggs from Rent. So they were meeting early on in their trajectory of actors. Things didn't go so well, and so they go in their separate ways.
It went as well as it was supposed to.
What's that?
It went as well as it was supposed to.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that, when you're dealing with this craft and you're making, more than we making, you get a lot more challenges. And that's really, because we all that were in Jazz Actors know that Ernie had a pet peeve for anybody in the group getting involved with each other. Well, the reality is you put a group of young, attracted people that are attracted to each other performing, because, there's a lot of energy going on the stage. And so it don't just stay on the stage.
Yeah, and we touch each other.
Yeah, they tend to touch each other.
Yeah, we do.
Sometimes more often than not.
I would have spoken more euphemistically, but okay. And so those kinds of things come into play as well. So, it's a lot to navigate. And that's why I think you're really fortunate if in sustaining you in this industry, if early on you can get connected with a project that pays you well enough that you can take your time and choose your projects.
Yeah. And I have to tailgate with what J. Ron is saying. Is like when Toney, Jerome, and I think Shantell mentioned this as well. Like, I feel blessed. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that this thing could have gone.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends, tons of friends, and friends that I made through acting who have wonderful careers. Yeah. They're doing some great things. But I like my life here. Yeah. I like the way things are. I like having access to actually know my kids and be able to say hi to my wife without a lawyer present, things of that nature. Yeah, comfortable things. Yeah. I'm not a rich man, but we didn't have a lot growing up. So I made a decision then when I had an opportunity to take control of it. I wasn't perfect. Everybody can't be J. Ron, but what I will say is I always had a job.
Yeah. Me too.
Or a couple, right?
Amen. Yeah.
And so what I wanted was not to have the stress of my needs impeding my craft. Yeah. Because especially with acting, you gotta be relaxed and loose and open. And if I can't be on somebody's set or somebody's stage with hungry kids at home. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's really hard. Yeah. So I have to take care of that first. But in doing that, it's afforded me the luxury of being able to choose. Yeah. So I can choose which projects I want to be a part of. That's why I could pursue A Wire for a couple of years and a couple other shows that I wanted to be on. And then slowly, get on those things. But speaking of the business side that you're getting into right now, like with everything that's going on right now, and Shantell can attest to this, we have to be our own studio director, producer, casting agent. Like you can't go in for an audition anymore. You have to, shoot it like we're doing right now and get involved and present that product and yourself professionally on your own. If you've always been doing that, it's easy. If you haven't, it's probably a learning curve. Yeah. But we've never had the luxury of just doing one thing. I remember having the first gig where I worked at U of R, and they're like, "Well, this is your assistant." I was like, "What is that?" She will help you get dressed. What? Really? Yeah. I mean, with Ernie, like if you didn't show up on your mark with the right clothes on, you just caught a chair, but the play didn't stop. And now I got somebody helping with jackets and buckles and stuff. I'm like, all right.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not, when I am presented with that luxury, oh my God, I take full advantage of it, but I don't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we have to do on our own.
Yes.
And
We were trained that way. We're, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta talk now before my computer dies on me. And by the way, that was straight from God. I just want to let you know, and I'm putting that straight up on the show. That was straight from God, letting you know that donated a portion. Please send a computer to Shantell.
Hallelujah.
A plug.
Hallelujah.
Everybody.
A plug. Shantell needs a new computer.
We'll put it out there in the universe.
I'm putting this out there in the air.
There you go.
But for real, I can probably answer all the questions at one time. Being an artist, period, point blank, a lot of times, I mean, like, you know, I was an artist, number one, at first. But then, you know, you fall in love and you think, yo, I mean, I got this. And then you have kids. Then you think, I got this. And no, you don't. You know, you got to feed them. You know, you got to clothe them. And you're left with, hey, man, you know, if there are no roles or there are not enough roles out here for me, then I have to figure this out myself. And my figuring it out myself was me going out and doing side gigs as much as I can. I did commercial work. I did, you know, side movies as much as I could. And when I didn't have any work to do at all, then you know, I did plays on the side. Sometimes I didn't get paid for what I did. I was happy sometimes to get on stage, and then sometimes I had to put my foot down because I was insulted after a while. Because as an artist, you say, why don't I get paid for this? I still have to go home and feed somebody. I still have to, I have to make money.
And it's important.
Somebody is still counting on me.
You know have to know your worth.
So, and then I have to go out and I have to change my career again. And I've just felt like all my life, keep changing my career, And then I finally had the opportunity. Actually, I was blessed to be able to be talented, to be able to speak Spanish. So I was able to lean back on, you know, a whole nother language, you know, all different types of other things. But because of that, being in the school system, I got an opportunity to have a door open for me to teach theater for the first time. You know, I squeezed in the system and I got to actually, you know, teach something that wasn't, you know, in the system before. Well, Jerome had opened up the doors in public schools.
Yeah, because when that dance job became available,
dance kind of, you know, it was kind of like, you know, brand new and fresh. Well, one teacher before me, and then, you know, kind of I squeezed in there with dance, and then they finally, like, I don't know how many years later it was, and they opened up the door again for theater. Yeah. But it was still a struggle. They bought absolutely no books for the theater. They absolutely supported, you know, no support for the program itself. So it's still, you're on your own, you know. So even in the objectivity of trying your best to support such a healthy part of your life, it's still a drag, you know, trying to pick all the pieces and you try your best to support so much. You're still going back financially, supporting something you're not supposed to support. You're supporting your own job.
Yeah, Shantell, you were speaking on something that I think is like valuably important, and it parallels the African American experience.
What? Did I really? Did I do it that purposefully? I did. I did. Was that another plug? Was that enough?
I don't know. You tell me. But like seriously, when like All right, and I tell this to all my new actors. So there's a certain amount of roles and plays that our theaters do in this area every year when they run a season. 5% of the roles that are offered to Black people. 3% might be for a Black man. That leaves 2% for Black women. And we all hustling for that. The same thing goes for movies and television and film. So the expectation that there's a role for you has never been a part of my outlook ever. I've always just been, hey, I've got to go in and read for things that they don't have me in mind, or I got to carve my way in.
Exactly, DL. And you know what I did, DL? I started creating things on my own.
Exactly.
That's what I have started to do. And you know what, DL? I'm going to interrupt you because I know you're getting ready to go to a long story. Because my computer cut off, I'm going to interrupt you again. So let me tell you what I've been doing. I have created a situation that I am employing myself. The situation is, it's hard to be your own employer because it's hard to pay yourself when you're in the objectivity of you creating. When you're creating and you by yourself, it's just one person. You are the creator. You are the business person. You are the promoter. You are the designer. Ain't nobody put no buttons on you.
There's a lot of hats. There's a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing all the hats. Yeah. I just finished calling my cousin the other day. I mean, not the other day, just today. And I'm sitting there and I got a little tear coming down my eye saying, brother, it's just me. I'm by myself. And he just said, let it out, Shantell. Just let it out. Just let it out your chest. And I did. And he said, you know what? He said, create anyway. He said, just do it. He said, I create all this music. He said, Shantell, I have it and I have it in a can. And I don't let it out because I'm too busy trying to make it perfect. He said, just do it.
That's a word right there.
Put it out there.
That's a
he
word
said,
right there.
Don't sit there and wait until it's perfect, because as an artist, you sit there and you judge yourself so much that you think that it's supposed to look a certain way. And you criticize to a point where you'll drive yourself crazy. And I said, that's where I've been. I've been stuck in my own creative hole. Wow. And I'm trying to get out. And I called him and I said, get me out of this hole, Brian, because I can't get out. I can't even get to the point where I can go out, because I'm like, literally, I'm singing, I'm dancing. I got to write my script. You know, I got to promote this, you know, and I'm just like, save me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's
we have to write our own way.
Yeah, I got to write.
The role isn't there. We create it.
I'm writing out of this. Yes.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah. Dio, you got a new house.
I was going to say.
I just moved.
With the virtual background.
Let me cut this off. All right, I'm back here.
Right.
Hopkins keep, Chateau du Hopkins. But Shantell touched on the thing that's vitally important. I never approached theater season or auditions with the idea of, oh, that's a role for me. Mm-hmm. I've always had to go in and fight for it or convince someone that a person like me can play that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Right? Because none of the stuff that I did was for me.
Yeah.
Or us, really. It's just until you say the words, then someone go, oh my gosh, I guess you can say those words. I put on pants every day. I eat, piss, shit, drink, all of that. Yeah. So it's the character does that, so I should be able to do that. Yeah. But now I've reached a point in my career that Shantell's talking about where, okay, I've learned all of these things and I don't have to be in the front anymore. But there are some stories I'd like to tell. So I have to create them myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to catch up to Daron. You're the master of that. Seriously, Jerome. Like
Thank you.
are the benchmark for a lot of us in different genres. You transfer from theater. If you get an idea for a movie, you do that. You get an idea for a video, you do that. A dance piece, you know. So a lot of that, the idea of that fearlessness, that idea of not being selfless. What I mean by being selfless is like not letting yourself get in the way of something. You just don't seem to have any of that. Like I have all these great ideas. I'll write them down and I'll get going. But that inside voice goes, yeah, what you doing that for, brother? You're just going to mess that up, cousin.
All right.
You got somebody know what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I am best when I'm in an uncomfortable space. Like if I'm in a comfortable place, it's not, I have to shake it up. So I push myself into a space that I haven't been in, and that level of vulnerability comes out, and that's where I'm good with acting. Yeah. It's not really a talent or anything. I react to uncomfortable circumstances naturally as the character. And that's what rings is true.
And it's very uncomfortable. I mean, I think there's a need, right? And we know this has not been met. So I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I just have to feel that, I just feel it.
Do it.
And thank you. Yeah. And you're right. And sometimes it's like, this is very uncomfortable, but okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same way I feel with like rehearsals and things. There are times when I'm like, oh, I feel like dealing with these folk today.
Yeah.
I hate everything. I don't want to, this is dumb. I'm broke. Why am I going in here to say these lines and deal with these people? And then you get to rehearsal and it's magical.
Yeah. Some of my best rehearsals, I've been tired and hungry. Best rehearsals, man.
Yeah.
Tired and hungry. It's like.
And then I present very social, but I don't like people a lot. And what I mean by that is, I don't know, this might be something with me, but there are times when I don't want to be around anyone.
Yeah.
I need to recharge and all that, but you can't do that in this business.
Yeah,
I have to be, oh, hey guys, how you doing all the time? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the eye is always on you, It's always on you.
Yeah, it's always on you. And if it doesn't go to according to plan, it's me. Right? So that's why I want to tell you that you're an inspiration, because you do it without even questioning it. It's like, okay, well, we're shooting a movie tomorrow. I'm like, wow. and you're like, if you can make it, great. If not, we're cool. I just, your support is all I need, and you'll do that. Whereas I'm like, oh my God, I'm shooting a movie tomorrow. What the hell am I doing? And then Tracy hears all the
Don't even get me started. Lord have mercy. Technology is my nightmare right now.
Why did I do this? Why did I even get started?
Yes.
Here people calling me now. Oh man. Yeah, but you make it seem effortless.
Thank you.
I want to let you know that you're an inspiration to a lot of us.
Thank you.
And the funny thing about it is that you sing all of our accolades, and everybody trying to catch up to their own.
No
idea. That's what's up.
Y'all are my heroes. I mean, really.
I can't tell, brother.
Without the DL, without the Drayon, without the Shantell, the Toney, I would what have no actors. I'm on the stage by myself, but I feel that's why I'm directed. Y'all do all the work. Y'all are the ones in the trenches, man. Y'all are making it happen.
Yeah, I was like, after I got a taste of directing, I was like, why am I killing myself on stage here? I could actually just orchestrate this thing.
Yeah.
And you put in all the work up front.
Right.
Yeah, let them do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All right, everybody back to one. Let's do this again, but this time with a little more conviction. I don't believe it.
What I love though is just sitting in the audience and watching it. You know, after all that rehearsal, which we have 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And you
accolades, and everybody trying to catch up to their own.
Oh no.
That's what's up.
Y'all are my heroes. I mean, really.
I can't tell, brother.
Without the DL, without the Drayon, without the Shantell, the Toney, you know, I would what have, you know, no actors. You know, I'm on the stage by myself. But you know, I feel that's why I'm directing. Y'all do all the work. Y'all are the ones in the trenches, man. Y'all are making it happen.
Yeah, I was like, after I got a taste of directing, I was like, why am I killing myself on stage here? I could actually just orchestrate this thing.
Yeah.
And you put in all the work up front.
Right.
Yeah, let them do it. Yeah.
No,
all right, everybody back to one. Let's do this again, but this time with a little more conviction. I don't believe it.
What I love though is just sitting in the audience and watching it. You know, after all that rehearsal, which we have 4 weeks or whatever, and you get to sit down and chill for the rest of the time. You know,
the show,
and it's beautiful. It's just watching guys in action. It's like it's like shoo.
And like when you get to the point where the actors have the show, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, when they have
you come back and you watch the show and you can just see them play it.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now it's opening up.
Exactly. Yeah.
That openness is another point that's very important. Like when it becomes rote, whatever you're doing, whether it's directing, acting, if it just becomes rudimentary and rote and it's repeating the same thing and you're not making new discoveries or you're not open enough to actually do something new or receive that's when it's deadly to me.
Yeah.
I think that's what Fugard calls the deadly theater.
Yeah.
Not Fugard. I'm sorry. Peter Brook. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that cookie cutter McDonald's, you know, churned out manufactured thing. That's deadly for me.
Yeah.
I like to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'm pushing myself. But also, when I'm surrounded by people who are creating and we have something new each time. Yeah. Man. That's magic. Yeah. That's magic. Yeah. And then you sit back. Shantell, I saw it a couple of times in the show when we did with Heritage, watching it and then watching the actors just have a ball. Because I know the lines, you know the lines, but seeing that interacting, seeing something new, seeing people make discoveries and laughing at it is something really, really fun and hilarious. Yeah. That's awesome. Good stuff, y'all. Very good. Yeah. All right. This has been good, y'all. I mean, we talked about one thing, but we, you know, it's so many things, you know, splinters and things. Recording? Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Shantell, any final words? I know you had a lot to say.
I think I summed up my final words. J-Ron, do you ever see yourself being a director? I think you would be a good director, actually.
I concur.
I think I could do it, but it's not as exciting to me as.
What?
You should try it. You should try it,
J-Ron. I really think
I've not really been offered it in an actual production. Now I've done a little bit of it, you know, like with some kids. I've done quite a bit of that at one point. Rochelle Turnage, which several of y'all probably know. When my son was at that school, he was in probably 10 shows. And I used to work with the actors in individual scenes. And so I was kind of a de facto assistant director, but I'm not as excited by it other than more so than creating a character. To me, that's much. Okay.
Well, I think that for me, I never thought about doing it, but I got thrown into it trial by fire.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. I don't think I'm, like there yet.
Me too.
But you know what I mean? I'm still learning. But I will say, J. Ron, it is just as fulfilling.
Yes.
As acting, but on a grander scale, because you're watching all of the elements come together without just concerning yourself. And you have the luxury of seeing it.
Yes.
Like I don't get to see any of my work on theater.
Yeah.
Watching a video recording of it isn't the same.
Yeah, no.
Sitting there and going, wow, looking wow.
Yeah. And you get to have a vision too. You get to have a vision.
Yeah, you get that kick of, okay, I thought about this. This was just an idea.
Yeah.
And now look at it. It's actually a thing.
Yeah, I hear you all, and I have no doubt that I would find something I enjoy about it. But to me, it's like a basketball coach. I'm sure I would enjoy coaching a team, a good team, push or getting the best out of a team. But I like to get in the game. I mean, I mean, that's the.
I hear you.
But that's true. That is true.
Two things, guys. I think you guys are all like lifelong learners, right? So directing is the same, I don't think you ever grow to the apex of your craft. You just get better with every show, and you can feel good about that because it's all about developing relationships with the actors, with the space, with the staff, and
the only people that know everything don't know nothing.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I
like
think
to say that I've learned to lie better.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It is, but you get more.
What's uncomfortable?
Huh?
What's uncomfortable?
This conversation, J. Ron.
No,
just turn your camera off. It'll get more comfortable.
When you are directing, I'll give you a couple of scenarios. When you're directing something, and if you're comfortable, it might not be the best work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you have it. Yeah.
I remember when I did Black Nativity with Theater 4.
Yeah.
Was very uncomfortable because I felt like there are a lot of people I've never met before, designers, tech people, and I felt like, oh, they're trying to check me. I don't know them. They don't know me. As awesome as I think it turned out to be,
I was in it, and it was.
It was just like so uncomfortable that experience, And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And I'm in front of them, and I have to, I'm like, I got to produce. I got to be the director in this place, and, it was that kind of thing. But out of that, there's something that you get, you grow. There's some growth. It's like muscles, right? So that muscle was, I got ripped, doing that experience, Same thing when I did Jitney, which I loved, another thing. And now I'm working with different people. It feels good because I know them, I talk to them, but we're all creating together and learning together. Another muscle thing,
Yeah, just like what I was saying there now, like basketball. It's like we can have an all-star team and you can play with some cats and they all got skills and y'all can, but if you playing with your team that you practice with, that you know their moves, that you know that when you look that way, he going for an alley-oop and you can throw him a no-look pass.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's it. And I got a whole lot of, when working with you guys, I got a whole lot of alley-oops and no-look classes, and as a director, it's you see that, in that rehearsal space that you getting some, some moves.
Yeah. You know who Sam Rockwell is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's an outstanding actor in my estimation. He was in that. Most recently, he was in that Best of Enemies movie with Taraji. And he was on one of these weekend programs and they were interviewing him and they were talking about his history and how good he was at this and that. And it was a moment of incredulity in his face. And, you know, he kind of paused a second. Well, he said, well, man, you don't just show up. You know, there's work to be done. Yeah. And so that's really what it comes down to. If you put in if you do the homework, you'll pass the test. Yeah, and that's what most people are not willing to do. They're not willing to, whatever that grind is, you know, they want to show up and, you know, fill out the application and just start working. You know, it just doesn't work like that.
It's the work, yeah.
But Jerome, you did fine work in both of those productions you referenced. I had the luxury to be in both of them. I remember I joined Black Nativity in the middle of the run.
Yeah.
And what you had put together, you talking about being uncomfortable. I had to walk into this production that was like, I said, this is great. And then of course, Jitney, but like I said, you did fine work in both of those runs.
This has been Theater Talk, and I am Jerome Scott Smith, and thank you for joining us today. Have a great evening.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Theater Talk. If you have an idea for a topic that you would like for us to discuss on our show, please send it to theatertalkrva@gmail.com. Also, we would love to hear from you. Tell us what you think about the show. You can either send us an email at theatertalkrva@gmail.com or send us a comment during an episode on YouTube.